Have you ever been around someone who seems friendly in words, but deep down, something just doesn't feel right? They smile at you, speak kindly, yet there's an invisible wall between you. A subtle discomfort you just can't explain. Your intuition starts to whisper, signaling that behind that smile, there might be something negative lurking. But should you trust that feeling? According to Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychologist, the answer may lie in a profound concept known as the shadow. This is the hidden part of the human mind, a space where negative emotions like hatred, envy, and resentment are buried. Although these feelings are often suppressed, they have a way of revealing themselves unconsciously through actions, words, even a glance or body language. You might believe you're sharp enough to recognize when someone doesn't like you. But what happens when that person is someone close? A friend, colleague, or even a family member? They might conceal their hostility with great skill, yet the subtle signs are always there. Delicate, but impossible to hide forever. In today's video, I'll reveal 8 undeniable signs that someone close to you might secretly harbor negative feelings towards you, even if they're doing everything they can to hide it. Pay close attention to sign number 8, because it could completely change the way you view certain people around you. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Stick with us until the end of the video to dive deep and reflect on what you might discover. The first undeniable sign of hidden hostility often appears in a deceptively harmless form. Contempt disguised as irony. Hostility doesn't always arrive with a loud confrontation, angry words, or visible tension. It can be far more subtle and insidious. Sometimes it hides behind a well-practiced mask of sarcasm, biting jokes, and seemingly harmless teasing. It's not the obvious explosive resentment you might expect. Instead, it's like a shadow lurking just beneath the surface, veiled, but powerful enough to leave you feeling uneasy without fully understanding why. You might notice it in the smallest interactions, those casual remarks that seem innocent on the surface but cut deeper than they should. Maybe it's a friend making jokes about something they know is sensitive for you, your insecurities, your past failures, or even your greatest aspirations. These comments seem playful at first glance, but they leave you with a lingering discomfort, as though you've been subtly diminished without any clear reason. And when you muster the courage to call them out on it, they're quick to dismiss your feelings with phrases like, "I was only joking," "You're too sensitive, can't you take a joke?" "Come on, I didn't mean anything by it." This is what makes this behavior particularly toxic. It's cloaked in the appearance of lightheartedness. They keep up the facade of being friendly and playful, while underneath, there's something more sinister at play. The worst part? You're left doubting yourself. Am I overreacting? Am I being too sensitive? This self-doubt is exactly what allows their hidden hostility to slip through unnoticed, time and time again. But the truth reveals itself in patterns. If this sarcasm becomes repetitive, if they continually target the same vulnerabilities, making jokes that consistently leave you feeling small, embarrassed, or insecure, it's no longer innocent humor. Humor should uplift, connect, and ease tensions, not deepen them. When it starts to feel like those jokes are aimed at your weak spots, subtly digging into the areas where you're most vulnerable, that's when you're no longer dealing with light teasing. It's a clear sign of repressed hostility and hidden contempt. This behavior aligns with Carl Jung's shadow theory, which suggests that individuals often project parts of themselves they cannot accept onto others. The shadow is the darker side of our psyche, the hidden fears, insecurities, envy, or anger we suppress because they don't fit with the image we want to present to the world. Yet, even when buried deep, these emotions have a way of seeping out, often unconsciously. When someone repeatedly uses sarcasm to attack specific aspects of your personality, they might not be doing it intentionally. Instead, it could be an unconscious projection of their own inner struggles, an attempt to deal with feelings they don't know how to confront within themselves. A person insecure about their intelligence might mock your success or knowledge, trying to bring you down to ease their own sense of inadequacy. Someone wrestling with feelings of jealousy might constantly diminish your achievements, making backhanded remarks that chip away at your confidence without appearing outright cruel. The tricky part is that this behavior often slips under the radar because it's cloaked in humor. The person delivering these comments might not even realize they're projecting their own fears onto you. Yet, regardless of their awareness, the impact on you remains the same. It leaves you feeling diminished, undervalued, and over time, emotionally drained. Pay attention to how these interactions make you feel. If their jokes consistently leave you feeling small, uncomfortable, or uneasy, it's worth trusting those instincts. True humor doesn't leave scars. It lifts you up, brings laughter, and fosters connection. When it starts making you question your worth or feel ashamed of your vulnerabilities, it's no longer humor. It's emotional manipulation, driven by a deeper hostility they might not even fully acknowledge. The most dangerous part of this disguised hostility is its subtlety. You may not recognize it at first, and even when you do, confronting it can feel daunting, especially when the person hides behind the defense of "I was only joking." But remember, consistent sarcasm aimed at your most vulnerable places is not a sign of affection or closeness. It's a reflection of their inner struggles, projected onto you. In the end, it's not just about what they say, it's about how their words make you feel. Trust those feelings. They're often the first signal that something deeper and far more unsettling is going on beneath the surface. The second undeniable sign of hidden hostility is subtle sabotage. Unlike overt acts of betrayal, this form of sabotage is much more difficult to detect because it hides beneath the surface, disguised as forgetfulness, innocent mistakes, or well-meaning advice that somehow always seems to lead you in the wrong direction. It's not the kind of sabotage that screams for attention. Instead, it's a slow, calculated undermining of your progress, designed to hold you back without making the intent obvious. This hidden sabotage often comes from someone close to you, someone who, on the surface, seems supportive or caring. But deep down, they might feel threatened by your success, growth, or potential. When a person feels insecure or inferior compared to you, instead of cheering you on, they might begin to subtly chip away at your confidence and hinder your progress in ways that are difficult to recognize at first. It doesn't always come in the form of direct opposition. Sometimes it looks like seemingly harmless mistakes or accidents. For example, they might forget to pass along important information you needed to make a crucial decision. They might leave out key details that complicate your efforts or lead you to make mistakes. They could offer misleading advice, steering you off course under the guise of being helpful. At first glance, these incidents might seem like mere forgetfulness or innocent errors, especially when the person follows up with an apologetic, "Oh, I didn't realize that was important." But if these mistakes happen repeatedly, and especially if they occur at pivotal moments when you're close to achieving something significant, it's time to question whether they're truly coincidental. The most telling sign of hidden sabotage is consistency. If these slip-ups always seem to happen at critical times, before an important meeting, right as you're about to close a deal, or when you're nearing a personal milestone, it's worth asking yourself, is this really just bad luck, or is something more intentional happening beneath the surface? According to Carl Jung's shadow theory, this kind of behavior often stems from a deep, unconscious fear of inadequacy. When someone doesn't have the courage to confront their own failures or shortcomings, they may begin to project their frustrations onto others. Without even realizing it, they might try to sabotage your success to avoid feeling inferior themselves. Watching you succeed might highlight their own perceived failures, triggering feelings of jealousy, resentment, or inadequacy that they'd rather bury than face directly. This hidden sabotage doesn't always come from malicious intent. It can be driven by internal struggles that the person isn't even consciously aware of. For example, a friend who feels stuck in their own career might unconsciously undermine your professional achievements because your success serves as a painful reminder of their own perceived stagnation. A family member who's grappling with their insecurities might inadvertently discourage your growth because it threatens their sense of comfort or control. The danger of subtle sabotage is that it's often cloaked in good intentions. The person might genuinely believe they're being supportive, or at least that's what they tell themselves. But their actions consistently say otherwise. Each forgotten message, every omitted detail, and every accidental complication chips away at your momentum, making it harder for you to achieve your goals. So how can you spot hidden sabotage before it holds you back? The key is awareness. Start by observing patterns in their behavior. Do these mistakes or slip-ups always seem to happen when you're on the verge of a breakthrough? Is there a pattern of discouraging comments or unhelpful advice that seems to deflate your confidence? Do you leave interactions with this person feeling drained, doubtful, or less capable than before? Pay attention to how these interactions make you feel. Over time, patterns will emerge, and those patterns will reveal whether this is truly just coincidence or something more intentional. If you begin to notice consistent sabotage, it's important to set clear boundaries. While it might be uncomfortable, especially when dealing with someone close, you owe it to yourself to protect your growth and success. You don't need to confront them with accusations, but you can start to limit the influence they have on your decisions and goals. At its core, hidden sabotage is a reflection of the saboteur's own internal battles, not your shortcomings. But understanding it and recognizing the signs is essential if you want to break free from the silent sabotage holding you back and continue your journey toward success with clarity and confidence. The third undeniable sign of hidden hostility is silent competition, a subtle, often invisible rivalry that simmers beneath the surface of your interactions with someone close to you. It doesn't involve open challenges or direct confrontation. Instead, it lurks in everyday conversations, cloaked in casual remarks and disguised reactions. This competition isn't loud. It's quiet, strategic, and driven by deep-rooted insecurities. You might notice this dynamic when you share good news or celebrate an achievement. Instead of offering genuine congratulations, this person immediately redirects the spotlight back onto themselves. Maybe you excitedly announce a promotion at work, only for them to respond with something like, "That's great, I actually got a raise last month too." Or perhaps you mention completing a major personal goal, and they're quick to one-up you with, "That's cool, I did something similar, actually mine was even tougher." At first glance, this behavior can seem harmless, like casual conversation or mutual sharing. But over time, a pattern emerges. Every victory you share is met not with support, but with competition. Your success doesn't inspire them, it threatens them. Rather than celebrating your accomplishments, they feel the need to overshadow them, subtly shifting attention back to themselves in a way that leaves you feeling diminished. This type of silent competition often stems from deep-seated insecurities. For some people, seeing others succeed highlights their own perceived shortcomings. Every achievement you share is a reminder of what they feel they lack, whether it's confidence, ambition, talent, or recognition. Instead of celebrating your growth, they become quietly resentful, unable to tolerate the idea of you shining brighter than them. Carl Jung's shadow theory offers a powerful explanation for this behavior. According to Jung, individuals often project onto others the qualities they cannot accept or develop within themselves. When someone feels inferior or struggles with feelings of inadequacy, they might unconsciously project those emotions outward, turning admiration into envy and respect into rivalry. Your accomplishments inadvertently expose their own inner voids, making them feel small or unsuccessful by comparison. Rather than confronting these uncomfortable feelings internally, they respond by trying to outperform you or downplay your success. This could manifest in various ways: subtle digs, minimizing your achievements, or constantly shifting conversations back to their own experiences. You might notice, when you talk about a recent accomplishment, they quickly share something better they've done. If you express excitement about a new opportunity, they respond with indifference or skepticism, subtly undermining your enthusiasm. Every conversation starts to feel like a competition, leaving you drained and questioning whether you should even share your successes at all. The danger of silent competition lies in how easily it can erode your self-esteem over time. Unlike open jealousy or overt criticism, this behavior is subtle, often disguised as friendly banter or mutual sharing. But make no mistake, underneath those casual remarks is a deep-rooted resentment that can slowly chip away at your confidence and joy. If you consistently feel like you're competing for validation in every interaction, it's a clear sign that hidden hostility may be present. The person might not even realize what they're doing. This behavior can be unconscious, driven by their own unresolved feelings of inadequacy. However, just because they're unaware of their motives doesn't mean you have to tolerate it. It's important to recognize when someone's insecurities are quietly sabotaging your sense of accomplishment. Your success should never feel like a burden or something you need to downplay to protect someone else's ego. Pay attention to how you feel after interactions with this person. If you frequently leave conversations feeling drained, unappreciated, or second-guessed, it might be time to reevaluate that relationship. Ultimately, this form of hidden hostility says more about them than it does about you. Their need to compete reflects their inner struggles, not your worth. Understanding this allows you to rise above their silent rivalry, staying focused on your own growth without letting their insecurities dim your light. The fourth undeniable sign of hidden hostility is superficial support, a form of false encouragement that looks friendly on the surface but lacks any real depth or sincerity. It's subtle and deceptive because at first glance, it appears as though the person cares about you and your well-being. But when you look closer, especially during moments that truly matter, you begin to see the cracks in their facade. This type of false support often comes from those who secretly harbor negative feelings toward you, but don't want to reveal their true emotions. Instead of open hostility, they offer you half-hearted encouragement that feels shallow and disconnected. It shows up in the moments when you need genuine support the most, during times of hardship or when you're celebrating a meaningful victory. When you're struggling and turn to this person for help, they tend to minimize your problems or make excuses for why they can't be there. Instead of offering comfort or assistance, they dismiss your challenges as insignificant or offer cold, detached responses like, "I'm sure it's not that bad," or "You'll figure it out, you always do." Their lack of empathy leaves you feeling isolated, as if your struggles aren't worthy of attention. Even more telling is their reaction to your successes. Instead of sharing in your excitement or celebrating your achievements, their enthusiasm feels forced, or worse, non-existent. You might notice a flat response when you share good news, or they might quickly change the subject to avoid acknowledging your accomplishment altogether. In some cases, they may offer a lukewarm, "Congrats, I guess that's good for you," a hollow sentiment that does little to disguise their underlying indifference. This behavior becomes particularly noticeable during key moments in your life. These are the milestones where genuine friends and loved ones would naturally show up for you. Whether it's getting a promotion, launching a personal project, celebrating a birthday, or navigating a difficult loss. But with someone who secretly harbors negative feelings toward you, these significant moments are met with distance, disinterest, or absence. They might suddenly become too busy when you need them most, or conveniently disappear when it's time to celebrate your wins. At first, this lack of genuine support can be hard to recognize. People who offer superficial encouragement often mask their disinterest well, hiding behind polite smiles or empty words. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. If you consistently notice that someone close to you is emotionally unavailable during your moments of success or struggle, it's worth questioning whether their support is sincere. Carl Jung referred to this kind of emotional disconnect as ego dissociation, a psychological mechanism where individuals emotionally detach from those around them. This emotional coldness can stem from their own unresolved insecurities or feelings of inadequacy. Instead of confronting their discomfort or envy, they distance themselves from others, creating a barrier that prevents genuine emotional connection. This type of superficial support can be incredibly damaging over time. It leaves you questioning your worth, especially when someone you care about seems indifferent to your achievements or dismissive of your challenges. It chips away at your confidence and makes you second-guess whether you're truly deserving of celebration or sympathy. The most important thing to remember is this: real support feels genuine and uplifting. It doesn't leave you feeling hollow or insecure. Pay attention to how people respond to your highs and lows. True friends will be there for you, not just when it's convenient, but when it really matters. If this resonates with you so far and you're finding this insight valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and join our Telegram community to stay updated on future content for personal and spiritual growth. And if you'd like to support our channel, consider leaving a super thanks below the video. It would mean the world to us. The fifth unmistakable sign of hidden hostility is control disguised as caring. This form of manipulation is particularly deceptive because it doesn't present itself as aggression or dominance. Instead, it wears the mask of concern, pretending to be helpful and supportive when in reality, the underlying intention is to dominate and undermine your independence. These individuals often frame their actions as being for your own good. They offer unsolicited advice, criticize your choices, and subtly cast doubt on your ability to make decisions. Their comments might sound like, "I just want what's best for you," or "Are you sure that's a smart choice?" But rather than empowering you, their words leave you feeling smaller, unsure of yourself, and increasingly dependent on their validation. What makes this behavior so insidious is how convincingly it can be disguised as genuine care. They might position themselves as someone who knows better, the voice of reason in your life. However, the true motive isn't to guide or support you, it's to control, subtly chipping away at your confidence until you start doubting your own judgment. The key to recognizing this manipulation lies in how their advice makes you feel. Do you leave these conversations feeling stronger, more assured? Or do you find yourself questioning your instincts, feeling insecure or powerless? If their so-called concern consistently leaves you feeling weaker rather than empowered, you're likely dealing with an attempt at control. According to Jung, this need for control often stems from a deep fear of internal chaos. People who struggle with their own uncertainties project this fear outward, trying to govern others' lives to distract themselves from their own emotional instability. In truth, their desire to control you reflects their inability to manage the turmoil within themselves. The sixth unmistakable sign of hidden hostility is spreading criticism and gossip. People who harbor negative feelings toward you often won't express their resentment openly. Instead, they choose a far more subtle and destructive path. Talking about you behind your back, spreading criticism, rumors, and distorted information to damage your reputation in ways that are difficult to trace. This behavior is especially dangerous because it doesn't affect you directly. It works indirectly, often without your knowledge until the damage has already been done. You might start noticing subtle changes in how others treat you. Perhaps friends who were once warm become distant. Colleagues who used to engage with you now seem cold or indifferent. These shifts are often hard to explain, leaving you confused and wondering what you did wrong. In many cases, these changes are the result of negative gossip, false or exaggerated rumors designed to undermine your credibility and isolate you socially. For those who harbor resentment or jealousy, gossip becomes a powerful tool. It allows them to attack your character without ever confronting you directly, damaging your reputation and over time, eroding the support of those around you. Jung believed that the urge to discredit others often stems from unconscious projections of insecurity and inadequacy. People who feel inferior or unsatisfied with their own lives project these feelings outward, attempting to tear others down as a way to mask their own shortcomings. In other words, when someone speaks badly about you, they're often revealing more about their own inner struggles than anything true about you. The most damaging part of gossip is its quiet, creeping effect. It isolates you without giving you the chance to defend yourself. Recognizing the signs early is essential to protect your reputation and maintain your peace of mind. The seventh undeniable sign of hidden hostility is a lack of joy in your successes. Genuine friends and loved ones celebrate your achievements as if they were their own. They stand by you through challenges and, just as importantly, uplift you when you reach a milestone, sharing in your joy and recognizing your hard-earned victories. True supporters view your success as something positive and rewarding, proof of your growth, dedication, and perseverance. But when someone secretly holds resentment toward you, their reaction is often very different. Instead of happiness or enthusiasm, they struggle to mask their annoyance or discomfort. You might notice subtle signs like a cold, indifferent response, a sudden shift in the conversation, or an attempt to downplay your accomplishments. For instance, when you share exciting news instead of a warm hug. "That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." You get a detached, uninterested, "Oh, that's great." Worse yet, they might immediately redirect the focus onto themselves with comments like, "That reminds me, I did something similar a while back." These reactions are often fueled by envy or a poorly managed sense of competition. According to Carl Jung, the inability to feel joy for someone else's success reveals a deeper, unresolved internal conflict. Seeing you achieve your goals can trigger feelings of inadequacy in others, reminding them of the things they haven't accomplished or the dreams they've yet to realize. Instead of confronting these uncomfortable emotions, they try to diminish your achievements, making themselves feel better by making you feel smaller. This kind of hidden resentment often manifests through dismissive comments like, "Well, that's not such a big deal. I did something even better a while ago. You should have aimed higher." These aren't just casual remarks, they're subtle attempts to minimize your success and undermine the satisfaction you should rightfully feel. Their dismissive attitude is not a reflection of your achievement's value, but rather an indication of their own insecurities. If you consistently notice that someone around you struggles to celebrate your victories, or worse, seems annoyed by them, it's likely that they're battling feelings they can't fully express. Deep down, their inability to share in your joy reveals something far different from the support they might outwardly show. Recognizing this sign is crucial, because true connections should uplift you, not leave you questioning whether your successes are worth celebrating. The eighth and perhaps most revealing sign of hidden hostility lies in nonverbal language and subtle details. Unlike obvious signs of resentment, hidden hatred often doesn't reveal itself through words. It manifests in unconscious body language and involuntary reactions. While someone can control what they say, their body often tells a very different story. You might notice it in the smallest, most seemingly insignificant moments. A fleeting glance that shifts away at just the wrong time, a forced smile that doesn't reach the eyes, a sudden change of expression, or a tense, awkward silence. All of these subtle cues can speak louder than 1,000 words. These unconscious signals are often the true indicators of someone's feelings towards you. No matter how much a person tries to mask their emotions, the body has a way of betraying what's really going on inside. If someone pretends to appreciate you while secretly harboring hostility, you'll often notice these signs during moments when genuine feelings should naturally show. For example, when you share good news about a recent achievement, pay attention to their physical response. Do their hands stiffen? Does their posture shift? Perhaps their tone of voice changes ever so slightly when offering a compliment, sounding hollow or forced. Another red flag is avoiding eye contact at key moments, especially when they should be sharing in your excitement or offering genuine support. Carl Jung emphasized that the body and unconscious mind never lie. Even when someone is determined to hide their true feelings behind polite words or a friendly demeanor, their body language will inevitably reveal what lies beneath. This happens because the conscious mind can put up a mask, but the body instinctively reacts to authentic emotions, often without the person even realizing it. If you sense tension, discomfort, or a strange coldness during your interactions with someone, trust your instincts. You might be picking up on signals that your rational mind hasn't yet fully processed. Recognizing these subtle cues requires keen observation and sensitivity, but they are often the clearest indicators of someone's true feelings toward you. Remember, words can be deceptive. People can lie, manipulate, and disguise their intentions with language. But the body, through small, unconscious gestures, always tells the truth. So, stay alert, trust your intuition, and don't overlook the subtle signs that might reveal more than words ever could. What are your thoughts on the content above? Feel free to share your experiences in the comments. We warmly welcome everyone to join the discussion and share insights related to today's topic. Thank you for watching. If you learned something from this video, please like, subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. Or, if you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.